Welcome, everyone, to Boxing Scene's Top Stories here on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. I'm George D. Metellus. Remember to download the ProBox TV app where apps are available. One of the important reasons you should download the app and watch on ProBox TV's app is because you get the great insights of our Hall of Famers and world champions like Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi, and Hall of Fame trainer Teddy Atlas joining us here on Top Stories. All right, let's talk cruiserweights here because Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez showcased his talents by beating Chris Billam-Smith by unanimous decision to add the WBO belt to his WBA title. So, Teddy, let me ask you this. At age 33, Zurdo Ramirez might be in the best position of his career, but what is he expected to do next? What do you think he should do next?
Well, I think between him and Opataya in the cruiserweight division, he's at the top of the hill. I mean, there's a couple good fighters there in the cruiserweight division, but he showed me in that Smith fight that he can be dominant on the inside. He could go and fight on the outside. You know, he can deal with pressure because that's what Smith does. He gets hit too much, Smith. Wow, what a warrior. What a gallant. I wish somebody would teach him to move his head a little more because, man, he took a beating, but he just kept coming. And if Ramirez wasn't mentally what you have to be the full package. Forget about the physical attributes, the physical traits of, being able to throw the punches right, control range, be versatile, have defense with your offense. Forget about all that. But mentally to stand up to the fire when the fire comes, then he would never be able to be what he's shown himself to be now. He is a top guy because of that. He's got the full package. He stood up to that fire. He stood up to that pressure. He didn't melt. He didn't evaporate. And he, like I said, he fought on the inside. He showed good footwork. He did everything. He looks like he's got the size to move up to heavyweight. I mean, look, that is, at the end of the day, that's where the pool party is, right? I mean, everybody wants to, the cruiserweight division. There's some good fighters there, but they never get this. They never get the love. They never get the full sunshine that the heavyweights get. And let's get right to the other point: the money. They never get what the heavyweights are going to get, and the heavyweights right now is pretty. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty electric, and what's going on over in Saudi? Who wouldn't want to get into that pool? And I'm sure Ramirez and his connections, they got to be thinking about it. He's already shown the ability to move up a couple weight classes, and not a small move up, big move ups. And now he's all the way up to cruiser. That's the next door neighbor to heavyweight. That ain't that much farther to go, so at the end of the day, I'm sure that he's got his eyes over on that and he's thinking about that. But there is business still to do in the cruisers. And although I think he's as good as it gets, there is, like I said, Opataya, there is guys there still to make some really interesting, good fights, competitive fights, tough fights.
Yeah, Chris, what do you make of Zurdo Ramirez and best position of his career? What should he do next? What is he expected to do next?
I agree with Teddy. He's on top of the world right now. He's coming off a big win against Chris Billam-Smith, who's a very good fighter. Showed that he belongs at cruiserweight, and I agree, Teddy. I could see Zurdo at heavyweight. He's got a great chin. He's got a great size. He's got quick hands for a big guy, and I think that comes from coming from a smaller weight class. He used to fight at 168. He's used to faster hands, and now he's in these heavier weight classes. The guys just can't keep up with him. He throws combination after combination after combination. He's a fantastic, consistent body puncher. He's a problem for anybody in the world. If I'm on Team Zurdo, make that an Opataya fight. But if that fight can't be made, go up to heavyweight. Go make that heavyweight money. I mean, I think they have that in their plans and by design. I'd like to see him unify a cruiserweight, of course. I want to see the Opataya fight. I think that's a fantastic fight, a really hard fight to pick who can win. But regardless, win, lose, or draw, if he gets the Opataya fight, goes up to heavyweight, I think he can make for some good matchups up there, good fights. And exactly what Teddy said, the money at heavyweight is different.
I think you could be a good manager. You're a good analyst. I think you'd be a good manager. I really do. Think about it, Chris. Think about it.
Put another hat on, huh? I just got another hat to throw on the old rack.
Showing the versatility there. Yeah, Paulie, what do you make of Zurdo Ramirez, and what is he expected to do next? What he should do next?
I think that, we had a good conversation yesterday about, Benavidez speaking about him possibly moving up to the Cruiserweight division. I think that's also something that could be brought up if he's not going to get Obatai, if Obatai himself is going to move up to the heavyweight division, because Obatai has been talking about he barely makes the weight to begin with. So there may not be a lot of big fights at Cruiserweight for Zurdo if it's not Obatai. Obatai and Ramirez, and Obatai and Zurdo Ramirez also isn't a guaranteed win for Zurdo, man. Listen, that's a very, very difficult fight. We're already putting Zurdo a heavyweight, and we're already crowning him and this and that. What if he fights Obatai and gets knocked out? I think that will be a big test for him to be able to go to the heavyweight division. I think the Obatai fight was really a big testing ground because Obatai is on the verge of going to the heavyweight division himself. Otherwise, it's like we said yesterday, Benavidez has been kind of talking about how he can't get a title shot at light heavyweight, he can't get a title shot at super middleweight. He may test out the waters at cruiserweight. You know what? Makes for an interesting fight with Zurdo and Benavidez, because Benavidez has been a pretty big guy himself through the lower weight classes. And Zurdo also is an ex-168 pounder as is Benavidez. So that could also come into play in an interesting manner as well. But personally, I'd like to see the Obatai fight, but I just don't know if Obatai is going to remain at this weight that much longer.
So Obatai and if David Benavidez moving up to the cruiserweight, that surely would make cruiserweight much more interesting there. Obatai, by the way, has that mandatory against Hussein Chinkara to take care of first, but many people think
Benavidez got to get past a little bit of a guy named Morrow.
David Morrell.
That could be, to Paulie's point, just like you can't count your chickens before they're hatched with Ramirez. He's got to get past Obatai. Benavidez got to get past Morrow.
Is there Teddy, let me ask you this. Is there a situation here, because they're saying the WBA will have Zurdo Ramirez taking on Duarticos, and then there's the WBO asking for the mandatory against Michael Cieslak. Is there a way, is it looking like maybe the governing bodies are getting in the way possibly of a Zurdo Ramirez-Opataya fight?
The governing bodies get in the way of everything. Come on.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, Chris, come on.
Let's be honest, Teddy.
Yeah.
Let's be a little honest over here. They get in the way of everything. I mean, please, if I could just take them right now and move them over here, I would just do that. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, they get in the way of a lot of stuff. Just let us make the best fights.
Yeah.
That's all. Don't get out of the way. You know that old saying, get out of the way.
Yeah. So Chris, is this situation, that's really what's kind of preventing the Opataya-Zurdo Ramirez fight, is these mandatories from the WBO, WBA, and IBF getting in the way of that what would be a super fight at cruiserweight?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we can say that just yet. That fight really just materialized because Zurdo had to get past Chris Billam-Smith. I mean, that was not an easy fight. It wasn't on paper, at least. He dominated, looked fantastic, and really made himself a major player in the weight class. And I think at this point, anyone who's watching or paying attention to the cruiserweight division or boxing in general understands that Opataya and Zurdo are number one and number two. And the winner of that fight, whether there's belts involved or not, is the best cruiserweight in the world. And I think with the way things have been moving, especially with Riyadh and what Turki Al-Sheikh has been able to do in this sport, that he can make these fights happen irregardless of what's going on with these governing bodies and what they mandate. Strip them, who cares? Those two guys fight. Is anyone going to question who the best cruiserweight in the world is? No, absolutely not. It's Jai Opataya or it's Zurdo Ramirez, depending on who wins that fight. So I don't think that so much that they're impeding it that much, especially nowadays. But I mean, I don't know. I hope that fight happens. I think it's a fantastic matchup, and I really don't know who wins that fight.
Now, Paulie, I'll finish with you there. What's your take on the governing bodies kind of getting in the way of a possible Zurdo Ramirez-Opataya fight?
I don't know that they're really getting in the way. I mean, there's these kind of things always happen. There's always ways around them. I don't think that it's going to, if the fight can really be made, I think the bigger thing that's in the way is Opataya's ability to make cruiserweight, to be honest. I don't think it's the governing bodies. I know that's like we're on automatic pilot just to blame the governing bodies, but I think Opataya's ability to make weight may get in the way here of him being able to fight Zurdo. Also, Dorticos was a very good cruiserweight at one time. I just don't know if at this point in time, he's at his best.
Yeah, it should be fascinating to see what happens. I think we're all in agreement. We want to see Zurdo Ramirez versus Jai Opetaia as the next fight at Cruiserweight. And if it does come to pass or comes closer to being set up, we will let you know here on Top Stories. Quick reminder to scan the QR code, like, subscribe, and leave your comments on our YouTube channel. And download the ProBox TV app where apps are available. On the app and on YouTube, you can watch the next edition of our Contender series. We are back in Ireland December 7th. Should be a great fight card from Ireland. I am George D. Metellus, and this is Boxing Scene's Top Stories.
ProBox TV Contender Series. On December 7th, look for an all-out Irish war as Dylan the Real Deal Moran battles Tyrone the Mighty Celt McKenna at the top of a stacked ProBox-worthy card.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.